Are you tired of feeling stuck, waiting endlessly for something to change? What if today could be the day you finally break free, conquer self-doubt, and start building the life you've always imagined? In this session, we're going deep into powerful principles designed to push you forward, break through barriers, and empower you to achieve real results. This isn't just about motivation, it's about creating lasting change. Stick around, because what you're about to experience could mark the beginning of your greatest transformation yet. Are you letting life pass you by? Do you find yourself overwhelmed, uncertain, or unsure of where to even begin? This is where most people stay stuck, believing that their life is just happening to them. But let me tell you something. Life doesn't just happen to you, you're letting it happen to you. And if you're constantly feeling stuck, it's because you're not in control. You may feel overwhelmed because you have so many responsibilities, so many things pulling you in different directions. You may feel uncertain because your goals seem too far away or too hard to reach. These struggles are all too common, and they're all symptoms of a bigger issue: a lack of control over your own life. External factors like the economy, your family situation, or the environment around you may feel like they're controlling your every move. You might think these things dictate your happiness, success, and ability to thrive. But let me be clear, external factors can influence you, but they don't get to control you. You do. The key to breaking free and getting back in control is responsibility. Take ownership of where you are and where you're going. Your past choices may have led you to this point, but they don't define your future. The moment you take responsibility for your life, you unlock the power to change it. This isn't just about recognizing your mistakes or weaknesses, it's about taking charge of your actions, your decisions, and your mindset. This is the foundation of true control. If you master your mindset, everything else will fall into place. If you choose to control your thoughts, you'll be able to control your outcomes. You hold the power, but it starts with owning your life. Stop blaming circumstances. Stop waiting for the right moment, the right person, or the right opportunity. It's time to own your choices. It's time to stop making excuses. Excuses are nothing but chains holding you back, and the longer you hold on to them, the more you remain stuck in the same place. Let me ask you, when will you stop blaming everything else for your lack of progress? Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Once you stop blaming external factors, you unlock the power of choice. You are responsible for your actions and the outcomes they create, and that is the first step toward freedom. When you own your actions and outcomes, you're in control. You stop being a passenger in your life and you become the driver. The shift from blaming to owning is not always easy, but it's essential. It's the difference between staying stuck in a cycle and starting to build a path forward. Here's the thing about responsibility. It doesn't require perfection. It only requires that you take small steps toward your goals. Every action you take, no matter how small, builds momentum. Small actions lead to massive change. And once you realize that, you'll see how much power you have over your own life. Taking full responsibility for your life isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them and using them as stepping stones. When you own your life, you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You realize that the power to change your future is in your hands. Discipline is your secret weapon for taking control. It's what keeps you going when everything inside you wants to give up. It's the ability to push through when it's hard, when you're tired, and when you don't feel like it. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who just wish they could. But here's the truth. Discipline alone isn't enough. You need focus. Focus is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Without focus, your dreams remain just that, dreams. Focus is what turns ideas into actions and actions into results. The beauty of discipline and focus is that they feed off each other. The more disciplined you are, the clearer your focus becomes, and the more focused you are, the easier it is to stay disciplined. When you have both, success isn't just a possibility, it's a certainty. Consistency is key here. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant results, but the truth is success doesn't happen overnight. It's the small daily actions that lead to big changes. These small habits are the foundation of long-term success. Every time you do something small but meaningful, you're reinforcing the discipline and focus that will carry you through any obstacle. But here's the thing. Discipline without focus is a waste, and focus without discipline is a pipe dream. To make it work, you need both. Prioritize what matters most to you and commit to those things every single day. Stay focused on your goals and use discipline to keep you on track. It's that simple, but it takes work. And that's where most people fail. But not you. You're in control now. Fear isn't your enemy. Ignored fear is. Fear, in its purest form, is a signal that you're on the edge of something big. It means you're about to grow, and that's where the magic happens. But here's the catch. You cannot let fear control you. If you let it take the wheel, it will drive you into inaction. Doubt is the same. It's that little voice inside your head telling you that you're not good enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. But let me tell you something, doubt is a liar. It's not the truth. It's just an obstacle. And if you let it stop you, it will. But if you keep pushing, you has no power over you. You are more capable than you think. The only way to conquer doubt is to act despite it. You don't need to wait until the fear is gone or the doubt is silenced. You need to take action in spite of them. This is where the real power lies. Turn fear into fuel. When fear shows up, it's telling you that something important is about to happen. Embrace it, let it drive you, use it to propel you forward, not hold you back. The key to overcoming fear and doubt is self-belief. Trust that you have what it takes to succeed. Every time you push through fear and take action, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Keep moving forward no matter how scared you feel. The action is the antidote to fear. Do you know where you're going? A clear vision is essential to taking control of your life. Without a vision, you're like a ship without a rudder, drifting, uncertain and directionless. But with a clear goal, you have a purpose. You know where you're headed, and that knowledge guides every step you take. Turning your dreams into action is where most people get stuck. They have the vision, but they don't know how to make it a reality. That's where goal setting comes in. You need to break down your big dreams into smaller, manageable goals. It's like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. Tracking your progress is essential. It keeps you on course and shows you how far you've come. Measuring results helps you stay accountable and motivated. Adjust your course as needed, but never lose sight of your end goal. Every setback is just a chance to get back on track. This is where most people quit. They don't see immediate results, but remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Stay flexible, but stay focused. Motivation is fleeting. We've all been there. Excited one day and burned out the next. The truth is, motivation alone won't get you to your destination. What will carry you through is consistency. Building a routine that keeps you moving forward every day, no matter what. Dealing with setbacks is part of the journey. When things get tough, the real test is whether you'll bounce back or stay down. The key is resilience. The power of positive thinking plays a big role here. Your mindset is everything. Keep your head in the game and keep pushing. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who bring you down. The right people will help you stay motivated when times are hard. Don't let negativity weigh you down. Stay focused, stay positive, and keep moving forward. Momentum is your best friend. It's the snowball effect. The more you do, the easier it becomes. Once you get going, it gets bigger, faster, and harder to stop. Starting small is the key. That first step, no matter how tiny, creates the momentum you need. But here's the catch. If you lose momentum, it's hard to get it back. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. That's why it's so important to keep pushing, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Every small action counts. Use momentum to crush your goals. Let it build on itself, and before you know it, you'll be moving faster than you ever imagined. But remember, you must keep the fire burning. Keep the momentum alive by staying consistent and focused. If you falter, it's okay. Just get back on track quickly. The time for change is now. You've waited long enough. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more waiting for life to get easier. You have everything you need to succeed right now. So what will you do today to take control of your life? Will you keep waiting, or will you step up and take that first step? This is your moment. You're in control. Don't let fear, doubt, or procrastination hold you back. The life you want is waiting for you to claim it. Your future is in your hands. The only question is, what are you going to do about it? Do you feel stuck, like no matter what you do, nothing seems to change? Are you overwhelmed by frustration, unsure of where to begin or how to take control of your life? What if I told you that the key to unlocking your potential is within you, right now? The first step toward the life you desire starts with recognizing that your current struggles don't define you. They're simply temporary roadblocks that you have the power to overcome. In this session, we'll explore why you're feeling powerless, why external circumstances may seem to control you, and how the right mindset can shift everything in your favor. No more waiting for things to get better or hoping that things will change on their own. It's time to take charge. By the end of this, you'll have the clarity, tools, and mindset to break free from the cycle of frustration and step confidently into the life you're meant to live. Let's get started. Why do you feel stuck? That sense of frustration, confusion, and powerlessness. You've felt it, right? It's like you're on a treadmill, running fast but getting nowhere. You're giving everything you've got, but life still feels out of reach. And the more you try, the more defeated you feel. You may be asking yourself, what's keeping me from breaking free? It's normal to feel trapped. Life isn't always smooth, and challenges are inevitable. But here's the thing, that frustration doesn't have to be permanent. It doesn't have to define your life. We all face moments where we feel out of control, but it's what you do in those moments that matters. It's like trying to swim upstream when everything around you is pulling you down. That emotional toll is real. It drains your energy, saps your motivation, and leaves you questioning whether any of it is worth it. But I want you to hear me on this. It's completely normal to feel this way at times. The key is recognizing that these feelings don't have to last forever. They're not a reflection of your worth or your future. They're simply part of the process. Everyone experiences this sense of powerlessness at some point, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. It's temporary, and the moment you accept that, the moment you stop letting these feelings control you, you start taking back your power. Let me ask you something. How often do you blame your circumstances for where you are right now? How many times have you pointed the finger at someone else or at life for your struggles? It's easy, right? When things go wrong, it feels comforting to say, this happened because of them, or if only that situation had been different. But let me challenge you on this. How much power do these external factors really have over you? Sure, your environment, society, or people around you can influence your decisions and emotions, but do they own your choices? Do they have the power to dictate your future? Absolutely not. Too often we let these external forces create a story for us. They become the cage we put ourselves in, the excuse that stops us from moving forward. But here's the truth. You are the captain of your own ship. Don't let the winds of circumstance steer you off course. I'm not saying that external factors don't matter, but I am saying that you can choose how to respond to them. You can choose how much control you give them. The shift from focusing on external factors to focusing on what you can control, the internal choices you make, is the most empowering move you'll ever make. Your circumstances don't define you, your choices do. Let me tell you something, your mind is a powerful thing. It's like a garden. Every day you're planting seeds, thoughts, beliefs, ideas. What kind of seeds are you planting? The soil of your mind determines what kind of life you grow. If you're planting negativity, doubt, and fear, that's the garden you'll see. But if you start planting thoughts of growth, possibility, and confidence, that's the life you'll begin to cultivate. A growth-oriented mindset can change everything. It can take you from feeling stuck to feeling unstoppable. It's all about shifting how you see challenges. Do you avoid them, or do you embrace them as opportunities to grow? When you shift your mindset, you're not just changing how you think, you're changing how you approach every situation. On the other hand, a fixed mindset is like a weed that chokes everything else. The weeds of self-doubt grow when you don't tend to your garden of thoughts. But the good news is you can pull those weeds out. You can replace those negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones. You have the ability to shape your reality with the way you choose to think. So how do you shift your mindset? How do you start thinking differently? First, you need to understand that your thoughts shape your life. If you're constantly thinking negative thoughts about your situation, it's no surprise you're stuck. Your mindset can either limit you or open up endless possibilities. It's time to change the way you think, to change the way you live. It all comes down to rewiring your brain. Neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to change and adapt, means you can create new patterns of thinking. Every time you challenge a negative thought, you're strengthening your brain's ability to think positively. You're forming new habits that serve your success. Start by practicing affirmations, visualization, and self-reflection. Each small step shifts your mindset a little more. You might be thinking, that sounds easy, but does it really work? Let me tell you, yes, it works. Just look at the countless examples of people who have turned their lives around by changing how they think. It's not magic, it's science, and it's something you can do too. But here's the catch. Mindset alone won't get you where you want to go. You need to take action. And I know taking action can be hard. The fear of failure, the unknown, the resistance to change, it's all real. But let me ask you, what's one action you can take right now to move toward your goals? Even small actions create momentum. The first step is the hardest, but it's the one that makes all the difference. Once you start, the path becomes clearer. Change doesn't have to be a massive overhaul. It can start with a single step. That's how change works. It's like a snowball, small at first but unstoppable once it gets rolling. Don't let resistance hold you back. Yes, stepping outside of your comfort zone is scary, but the only way to push through that resistance is by focusing on the bigger picture, focusing on your long-term goals. It's time to stop overthinking and start doing. You've heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow. What would happen if you started seeing your obstacles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks? It's time to reframe your thinking. Limitations aren't permanent. They're only temporary and often self-imposed. If you take a step back and look at the challenges you've faced in your life, I'm sure you'll see that many of them turned into opportunities for growth. Those limitations you thought would hold you back, they're the very things that push you forward if you choose to see them that way. Growth takes time and it's not always easy, but just like a tree that doesn't grow overnight, your progress is happening every day. With patience, persistence, and the right mindset, you'll see the results. Embrace the process and you'll be amazed at how far you can go. Emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. How many times have you let your emotions dictate your actions? How many times have you let anger, fear, or frustration stop you from moving forward? Here's the truth. Emotional reactions can derail your progress, but you don't have to let them. The key is emotional control. When you master your emotions, you master your actions. It's like steering a ship through a storm. The waves may be high, the winds may be fierce, but when you stay calm and focused, you can keep the ship on course. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means responding to them in a way that doesn't interfere with your goals. Mastering your emotions gives you the freedom to make decisions based on logic and long-term vision, not on temporary feelings. It gives you the freedom to move forward no matter what's happening around you, and that, my friend, is where true control lies. You have the power to take control of your life. Now, it's time to act on it. Do you ever feel like life is happening to you instead of for you? Are you ready to break free from the cycle of feeling stuck, making excuses, and waiting for something to change? What if I told you that everything you've been waiting for is already within your control? The moment you decide to take ownership of your life, everything starts to shift. In this session, we'll dive deep into the transformative power of personal responsibility. Because the truth is, you are the key to your own success. No more blaming circumstances, no more feeling like a victim. The first step toward taking control of your life is realizing that you hold the power to change it. By the end of this speech, you'll have the tools and mindset to stop making excuses, start taking action, and begin building the life you've always dreamed of. But this isn't about external circumstances. It's about you stepping up, owning your choices, and creating lasting change. Let's take that first step together. How often do you feel like life is happening to you instead of for you? How often do you look at the circumstances around you and think, if only this were different, then I could do something? It's easy to fall into that trap. We blame our situations, our environment, the people around us for where we are in life. But let me tell you something. The moment you stop playing the victim and realize you have the power to shape your life, that's when everything changes. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for change and started creating it? The truth is, your life is your responsibility. The first step in taking control is realizing that you are responsible for the choices you make. No one else can make them for you. No matter where you are right now, you are where you are because of the decisions you've made in the past, and you can change everything moving forward with the decisions you make today. When you take the wheel of your own life, you stop being a passenger waiting for things to happen. You become the driver. The moment you step into that driver's seat, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Sure, there will be obstacles and challenges along the way, but guess what? You now have the power to navigate them, to make choices that bring you closer to the life you want. It's time to take full ownership of your life. This isn't about blaming anyone or anything for where you are. This is about stepping up, owning your choices, and creating your own path forward. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's hard, the power of ownership is a game changer. The moment you start owning your life, you'll see a shift. You'll feel more motivated, more driven. You'll feel like you're in control of your own destiny, and that will give you the energy and clarity to keep going, no matter what comes your way. How often do you catch yourself saying things like, I don't have time, I'm not good enough, or it's too hard? These excuses are like chains that keep you stuck in place, unable to move forward. We all make excuses. We all tell ourselves things that prevent us from taking action, from pushing ourselves to the next level. But here's the truth. Each excuse you make is just a roadblock you put in your own path. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'll do it tomorrow, or I can't because? These excuses are holding you back. Each time you make an excuse, you're telling yourself that your dreams, your goals, and your desires aren't important enough to fight for. You're building a wall between you and the life you want to live. But what if you took those excuses and turned them into stepping stones? What if every time you thought, I don't have time, you reminded yourself that we all have 24 hours in a day? What if instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you told yourself that growth comes from action, not perfection? What if it's too hard became, I can handle this, one step at a time? The truth is, overcoming excuses starts with breaking down big tasks into small, manageable steps. When you make a task feel achievable, you take away the power of that excuse. It becomes something that's possible, not overwhelming. And here's another key: accountability. Get someone who will hold you accountable, someone who will check in with you and remind you that you have the strength to move forward. Find someone who will encourage you to stay on track, even when the excuses start creeping in. If you really want to break free from the cycle of excuses, you need to recognize that they are self-imposed limitations. You are the only one standing in your way. Once you realize this, you'll see how much power you've had all along. No more excuses, just action. And that's how you'll start seeing results. Success doesn't come from avoiding discomfort. It comes from stepping up, taking responsibility, and pushing through those uncomfortable moments. The difference between people who succeed and those who don't isn't that the successful ones have it easier, it's that they take ownership, even when things get tough. They don't shy away from responsibility, they embrace it. Are you willing to take ownership even when it's hard? Are you willing to make the tough choices, the uncomfortable ones, knowing that they'll pay off in the end? Let me tell you something, success is built on the foundation of ownership. It's not built on waiting for someone else to make things happen for you. It's built on taking responsibility for every decision, for every action. Let me share a story. There was a person who was stuck in a job they hated. They complained about it every day, about their boss, about the workload, about everything. One day they realized something. They were the one who had allowed themselves to stay in that situation. They had the power to leave. They had the power to change careers, to pursue something they loved. But they had been too comfortable, too afraid of making the decision. But when they finally took ownership, everything changed. They left that job, started pursuing their passion, and within a year, their life was unrecognizable in the best way possible. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. That's the power of ownership. It doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. If you want to control your life, you must first control your actions. Actions speak louder than intentions. If you want a different life, you need to take different actions. And when you do that, when you start making the tough decisions, even when they don't feel comfortable, you will start to see the changes. Your life will shift, and that shift will be permanent. So ask yourself, what would happen if you started taking ownership today? How would your life look if you stopped waiting for things to change and took charge of your own destiny? The answer is simple. Your life would begin to transform, and that transformation starts with one thing: taking responsibility. Are you tired of starting strong and then fading out when the going gets tough? What if you could build the discipline and focus necessary to push through any challenge and keep moving toward your goals no matter the obstacles? Imagine waking up every day with the power to stay on track even when distractions threaten to pull you off course. Today we're diving into the key elements that turn dreams into reality: discipline and focus. These aren't just motivational buzzwords, they're the foundation of lasting success. In this session, we'll explore practical, actionable strategies to build unshakable discipline and laser-sharp focus. This isn't about feeling motivated every single day, it's about learning how to keep going when the initial excitement fades. By the end of this speech, you'll know exactly how to master your habits, prioritize what matters most, and stay consistent enough to turn small daily actions into huge life-changing results. This isn't a quick fix, it's a long-term plan for success. Let's get started and make your goals inevitable. What happens when the initial excitement fades and you face obstacles? We all know the feeling. You start strong, full of energy and enthusiasm, but then the road gets tough and suddenly the motivation that once fueled you starts to evaporate. This is where self-discipline comes in. Let me tell you something, discipline is the real force that keeps you going when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation will let you down. It's fleeting, unreliable, and temporary. But discipline? Discipline is the backbone of success. It's what keeps you showing up day after day, no matter how you feel. You might not always be inspired to work, but if you've built discipline into your routine, you will work anyway. Think about it. Discipline is like the fuel in your car. Your car can't go anywhere without fuel, right? Similarly, your goals won't move forward without discipline. When the road gets tough, when obstacles show up, discipline keeps you moving. Without it, you'll find yourself stuck in the same place, waiting for motivation to magically appear. Success doesn't come from the days when you feel energized. It comes from the days when you don't feel like doing anything but still choose to work because you have the discipline to do so. Successful people aren't just lucky or more motivated, they've mastered the art of discipline. They've built systems, habits, and routines that push them toward their goals every single day, whether they're excited or not. You can do the same. Focus is the bridge between where you are right now and where you want to be. But how often do you let distractions pull you off track? Life throws a million things at us every day: social media, work emails, the never-ending to-do list. It's easy to get lost in the noise, but the truth is, focus is the key to staying aligned with your goals. Focus is what keeps you on the path when the world is trying to get you off it. The first step in building focus is to set your priorities straight. What matters most to you? What's going to get you closer to your dreams? When you set clear goals, you create a roadmap to success. And to keep that roadmap in sight, break your goals down into daily, actionable steps. Every day, write down what needs to be done and make sure the most important tasks come first. Set non-negotiable time blocks where you are fully committed to your goals. Let me tell you something. You can't afford to let distractions take over. Distractions are like ghosts. They sneak up on you, steal your time, and leave you feeling drained. They're everywhere, and they're always looking to derail your progress. But if you're committed to your focus, you won't let them win. Mastering focus is about more than just being productive. It's about being intentional. It's about saying no to the things that don't matter and saying yes to the actions that get you closer to your vision. You don't need to be great to start, but you must start to be great. Small actions, repeated consistently, lead to massive results. It's easy to think that success happens in a big, flashy moment, but that's a myth. Success is a result of small, everyday actions that add up over time. Consistency is the secret weapon. It's what turns your dreams into reality. It's what turns your daily efforts into something monumental. But here's the truth. Consistency isn't easy. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting. But it's what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Your habits are the roots of your life. The deeper they go, the higher you'll grow. When you commit to daily actions, even small ones, you start building the habits that will carry you forward. Each small step might not feel like much, but over time, those small actions compound into extraordinary results. Think about it. One workout a week won't get you in shape, but 50 workouts over the course of a year will. One day of healthy eating won't change your body, but 365 days of choosing healthy food will change your life. The key is to stick with it. Even when you don't see immediate results, trust that the small actions you're taking today will lead to breakthroughs tomorrow. Stay consistent. Keep building those habits, and one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Success isn't a destination, it's the result of consistent effort, and that's something you can control every single day. The power of consistency is yours. Take it. Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear or overwhelmed by self-doubt, unsure of how to take that next step toward your goals? What if you could flip the script and use those same feelings as powerful fuel to propel yourself forward? Imagine not just surviving fear, but thriving because of it. In this session, we're tackling one of the biggest barriers to success, fear and doubt. These emotions don't have to be roadblocks. They can become stepping stones to your greatest achievement. The truth is, fear is a natural response. It's something we all experience. But here's the difference. Successful people don't let fear control them. They control how they respond to fear. By the end of this speech, you'll understand how to turn your fear into motivation, push through self-doubt, and take action even when it feels uncomfortable. This isn't about eliminating fear, it's about using it to your advantage. Get ready, because we're going to change the way you view fear and doubt forever. Let's dive in. What's the one thing holding you back right now? What fear has been stopping you from moving forward in your life? Is it the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, or maybe the fear of the unknown? Whatever it is, fear has likely planted a roadblock in front of you, one that keeps you from taking that next crucial step toward your dreams. And here's the thing, fear, when unchecked, can paralyze you. It can stop you dead in your tracks and keep you from doing the very things that could change your life. Let's face it, fear is part of being human. It's natural. But the key here is understanding that fear, in and of itself, isn't the enemy. It's the way we react to it that matters. Fear becomes a barrier when we allow it to control us, when we let it dictate our actions and keep us from moving forward. You see, fear is only powerful when we ignore it, when we allow it to fester and grow. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear ignored is the enemy. You can choose to let your fear be a signpost that shows you're on the edge of growth, that something bigger and better is on the other side. If you ignore that fear, it will only get louder, it will only grow stronger, and it will continue to prevent you from breaking through to your next level. The truth is, every time you face your fear head-on, you gain more control over it, and in turn, more control over your life. Now, what if I told you that the very thing that scares you could become the thing that drives you forward? What if you could turn your fear into the fuel that propels you toward success? The key here is to shift your perspective. Fear doesn't have to be an obstacle. In fact, it can be one of your greatest sources of motivation. Fear is like a weight. The more you face it, the stronger you become. Each time you confront fear, whether it's taking a risk, speaking up, or making a bold decision, you build emotional and mental muscle. Let me tell you something. You don't become stronger by avoiding fear. You become stronger by facing it. The successful people you admire, the ones who've achieved greatness, they didn't let fear stop them. They used it as fuel to push harder, go further, and grow stronger. Every time you push through fear, you become a little more unstoppable. Fear is part of the journey. It's a signal that you're growing, that you're challenging yourself. Instead of running from it, embrace it. Shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, I'm scared, tell yourself, I'm ready to face this. This is my chance to grow. When you shift that perspective, fear becomes a tool for empowerment. It becomes your ally, not your enemy. How many times have you let doubt stop you before you even tried? How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you were too afraid of failing, of not being good enough? Doubt is a natural response to uncertainty, but it doesn't have to be the thing that stops you. There's a difference between healthy skepticism, which makes you question and analyze, and crippling self-doubt, which paralyzes you and keeps you from taking action. Too many of us fall into the trap of believing that we need to have all the answers, that we need to be perfect before we even begin. But let me tell you something, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You're never going to feel fully ready, you're never going to have everything figured out, and that's okay. The key to overcoming doubt is simply to take action, even if it's imperfect action. When you move forward despite your doubt, that's when the magic happens. That's when you build confidence, not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by taking one step after another. Confidence is built through action. The more you act, the more you learn, and the more you grow. Every small step you take, even when you're doubting yourself, is a step towards success. So focus on progress, not perfection. Stop waiting for the stars to align and start moving. The more you do, the more your confidence will grow, and the quieter that self-doubt will become. Fear and doubt, they don't have to be roadblocks. In fact, they can be the very things that fuel your success, but only if you learn to use them to your advantage. Fear doesn't control you. You control how you respond to fear. Doubt doesn't have to stop you. Take action despite it and let your actions build your confidence. The path to your goals isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Remember, it's not about being fearless. It's about taking action in spite of fear. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. And every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. So, take control. Face your fears, push through your doubts, and let every challenge become the fuel that drives you forward to the success you deserve. Have you ever found yourself drifting through life, unsure of what you truly want or where you're headed? What if today could be the day you set a clear direction for your life and started achieving the goals that have always seemed out of reach? In this session, we're diving into the art of setting and achieving goals, the blueprint to take you from where you are to where you want to be. It's not about dreaming big without action. It's about turning those dreams into concrete steps that lead to real results. Whether you've struggled to make progress or simply haven't known where to begin, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Without clear goals, we are like a ship without a rudder, drifting in every direction. Today, you'll learn how to set meaningful, achievable goals, break them down into actionable steps, and stay on track even when obstacles arise. The transformation you seek starts with your ability to set the right goals and follow through. Get ready to take control of your future. Do you know exactly what you want in life? Can you clearly define your goals? Or do you feel lost and unsure about your next move? Too many people wander through life without a clear sense of direction, waiting for something to happen rather than making something happen. It's like trying to drive to a destination without a map. You might start off, but you'll quickly realize that you don't know where you're going, and the journey becomes aimless and frustrating. Without clear goals, it's easy to feel stuck. You might go through the motions, but you'll never really move forward. You'll spend your days reacting instead of proactively creating your life. This lack of clarity leads to confusion, frustration, and a sense of being overwhelmed. When you don't know what you're working toward, every decision becomes harder to make, and you end up spinning in circles. Here's the truth. Your goals are the compass guiding your journey. Without them, you're lost. Clear, specific goals give you direction. They act as a map showing you where to go and how to get there. Whether it's in your personal life, career, or relationships, your goals provide the focus and purpose that will propel you forward. Setting the right goals creates a roadmap for your future. Goals turn abstract ideas into actionable plans. They make decisions easier and help you prioritize. When you know exactly what you're working toward, it's easier to say no to distractions and focus on what truly matters. Imagine waking up every day knowing exactly what you're working for. How would it feel to have that kind of clarity and purpose in your life? So you've got your goals in mind. Now, what's the next step? Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a big goal, not knowing where to start? It's easy to get excited about a vision of the future, but when it comes time to take action, the gap between where you are and where you want to be can feel overwhelming. You might stare at that big goal and wonder, how am I ever going to achieve this? Here's the key: break it down. No matter how big or intimidating your goal may seem, you can always break it down into smaller, manageable steps. It's not about doing everything at once, it's about taking consistent, small actions that add up over time. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't reach the peak in one giant leap, you reach it by putting one foot in front of the other. When you break your goals into smaller tasks, progress becomes more manageable and achievable. You no longer have to worry about the end result, just focus on the next step. This is where the SMART method comes in. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Setting goals using the SMART criteria provides clarity and structure. For example, instead of saying, I want to get fit, a SMART goal would be, I will work out for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month. The beauty of SMART goals is that they give you clear benchmarks. No more vague goals. You know exactly what you need to do, how to measure progress, and when to achieve it. This approach makes the difference between wishful thinking and tangible action. Turning dreams into daily actions is how you turn big goals into reality. When you focus on what needs to be done today, you eliminate overwhelm. Prioritize the most important tasks and keep moving forward. Scheduling time to focus on your goals each day will help you build momentum, and soon what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Are you tracking your progress, or are you simply crossing your fingers and hoping things work out? Progress doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intention and action. One of the most important things you can do when working toward a goal is to track your progress regularly. This isn't just about checking things off a list. It's about assessing where you are, what's working, and where you might need to adjust. Life is unpredictable. Things don't always go as planned, and when obstacles arise, it's easy to feel like you've failed or that you're not making progress. But here's the truth: setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Success isn't a straight line. It's full of bumps, turns, and detours. What matters is how you respond to these challenges. Are you going to throw in the towel, or are you going to adjust your course and keep moving forward? Flexibility is key. Sometimes your goals might need to be adjusted. Maybe your original plan wasn't realistic, or maybe life threw you a curveball. That's okay. What matters is that you stay focused on the bigger picture and adjust your plan as needed. Reevaluate your goals, make changes if necessary, and keep pushing forward. Celebrate your small wins along the way. Every small step forward is progress. These wins build confidence and momentum. They prove to you that you're capable and that your goals are within reach. Persistence, not perfection, is what leads to success. Remember, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward your ultimate goal. Setting and achieving goals isn't a one-time event. It's a process. It requires clarity, action, and the ability to adjust when necessary. But with the right approach, you can turn any dream into a reality. Your goals are the compass guiding your journey. Break them down into actionable steps, track your progress, and stay flexible when life gets in the way. And most importantly, keep moving forward, one step at a time. Success doesn't happen overnight, but with persistence and focus, you'll get there. Take control of your future today. Your goals are waiting. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in neutral, unable to gain any traction despite your best efforts? What if the key to unlocking your potential was simply getting started and then never stopping? In this session, we're diving into the power of momentum and how maintaining motivation can be the game changer in your life. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or feeling inspired every day. It's about harnessing the momentum you build from small actions and letting that fuel your progress. Momentum is like a snowball rolling downhill. Once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep going, and before you know it, you're building unstoppable momentum. But what happens when setbacks hit? When the road gets tough, will you keep going or give up? Let's explore how to stay motivated even when the going gets tough, and surround yourself with people who push you forward. Today you'll discover how to turn your actions into a powerful force that leads to lasting success. What could you achieve if you just kept going? Think about that for a second. What's the one thing you've been putting off because it feels too big, too overwhelming? Maybe it's starting that business, writing that book, or even just getting back in shape. It's easy to get stuck in a loop of, I'll start tomorrow, or it's too late now. But what if the secret isn't about waiting for the perfect time or hoping for motivation to strike? What if it's all about just starting, no matter how small the step, and keeping that momentum going? Here's the truth. Momentum is key. The hardest part of any journey is always the first step, but once you start, momentum kicks in. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but the more it moves, the bigger it gets and the faster it goes. Momentum is the force that drives you forward even when things get tough. You don't have to see the entire path ahead of you. You just need to take that first step. The more you do, the more you'll build upon, and soon you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Think about the goals you've set, or maybe the ones you've abandoned. How many times have you stalled because progress felt slow? But every single action, no matter how small, builds momentum. Every phone call made, every page written, every workout completed moves you closer to your goal. Even on days when progress feels tiny, remember this: small steps over time lead to massive results. Don't wait for the perfect moment to act. The perfect moment is now. Let's talk about setbacks for a moment. They happen, life happens, and when it does, it's easy to let setbacks stop you in your tracks. You miss a deadline, you face rejection, you get knocked down by a challenge. It can feel like the world is throwing everything it's got at you. But let me tell you something, setbacks don't have to define you. They're not the end of the road, they're a part of the journey. You see, setbacks are inevitable. No one achieves anything great without facing obstacles along the way. But here's where the difference lies. The people who succeed are the ones who don't let setbacks stop them. They don't let a single failure dictate their future. Instead, they get back up, they learn from their mistakes, they adjust their course and keep going. When you fall, get back up. When you fail, learn, but never quit. That's the mindset you need to develop if you want to make momentum your ally. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. It's a chance to reassess, realign, and come back even stronger, but only if you don't quit. Think about the most successful people in the world. Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. They all faced setbacks, some of them massive, and yet they kept going. They understood that failure wasn't the end, it was just part of the process. So the next time you hit a roadblock, don't see it as a reason to quit. See it as fuel for your forward progress. Use it to push harder, work smarter, and prove to yourself that you won't be stopped by anything. Have you ever heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? It's not just a catchy quote. It's a truth that can make or break your journey. The people around you have a huge influence on your mindset, your motivation, and your drive. So ask yourself, who are you spending your time with? Are they lifting you up, challenging you to be better, and pushing you toward your goals? Or are they dragging you down, feeding you doubts, and keeping you stuck in a comfort zone? Let me tell you something, your circle matters. It's not enough to just have people around you. You need the right people. You need people who believe in you, who remind you of your potential when you start to forget it yourself. You need people who challenge you to think bigger, push harder, and keep going even when you're tempted to quit. Successful people don't do it alone. They surround themselves with mentors, peers, and supporters who help them grow and keep them accountable. The power of positive influence and accountability can't be overstated. When you're surrounded by people who share your vision, you become unstoppable. But when you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, and complacency, you'll find it harder and harder to stay motivated. So, if you want to maintain momentum and keep pushing toward your goals, take a hard look at who's in your corner. Are they the kind of people who lift you up, or are they holding you back? Build a network of people who inspire you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. They're the ones who will help you keep going when the going gets tough. Are you tired of waiting for life to hand you the perfect opportunity? What if you didn't have to wait at all? What if today could be the day you decide to take control, make a change, and start the journey toward the life you've always dreamed of? In this final section, we'll talk about the one thing you can do right now to begin transforming your life: taking control. Taking control doesn't require permission or the perfect timing. It's about one decision, one action, one small step forward. It's time to stop waiting for something to happen. The power is in your hands, and all it takes is that first move. Whether it's facing your fears, setting your goals, or simply deciding to take responsibility for your own growth, today is the day to begin. By owning your choices, your mindset, and your actions, you unlock the potential to create real, lasting change. So ask yourself, are you ready to take that first step? Your journey starts today. What's the one thing you'll do today to take control of your life? Take a moment and think about it. What's one action you can take right now that will set you on a new path? It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to happen today. You see, control starts with a single decision. It doesn't require everything to align perfectly. It doesn't need to be the perfect moment. All it needs is for you to take one step forward. So ask yourself, why are you waiting? Waiting for the right circumstances, the perfect timing, the ideal situation. Let me tell you something. Waiting won't get you anywhere. It's the actions you take, not the waiting, that create momentum. Stop procrastinating. Waiting for the perfect moment means you'll wait forever. Life doesn't pause for your convenience. You can't keep putting it off. You can't keep saying, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist until it's today. The time to act is now. You have the power to change your life in this moment. The good news is that you don't have to do it all at once. Take one small step today, something manageable. Maybe it's making a phone call you've been putting off, writing that first paragraph of the book you've always dreamed of writing, or even just taking 5 minutes to plan your day. It doesn't matter how small it is. The point is that you start. Because once you take that first step, you've already changed everything. One step forward changes everything. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You just need to take the first step. Remember, every success story starts with a decision. Every person who ever reached their dreams, no matter how big or small, did so by choosing to move forward. Even when fear, uncertainty, or doubt tried to hold them back, they made that choice. And that first step was the hardest, but it was also the most powerful. Let me remind you of something very important. You hold the keys to your own life. No one else controls your success. No one else controls your happiness, and no one else controls your future. You do. It's easy to blame circumstances, blame others, blame anything that feels easier than taking responsibility. But here's the truth. Your success begins and ends with you. When you own your decisions, you take control of your life. When you own your actions, you create your destiny. This isn't about pointing fingers at others, blaming your past, or hoping for a better future. It's about looking in the mirror and understanding that the person staring back at you has the power to change everything. You are the architect of your own future. You build it with every decision you make, every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take. When you take ownership of your emotions, your actions, and your mindset, you give yourself the greatest gift you could ever receive, the power to shape your life. But let me tell you, this isn't always easy. It's easy to play the victim. It's easy to make excuses. But here's the real truth. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. The limitations you face are often self-imposed. Whether they're real or imagined, they hold you back only as much as you let them. Your mindset is the key. If you believe you can't do it, you won't. If you believe you are limited by your circumstances, you'll be limited. But when you choose to own your choices, your thoughts, and your actions, you unlock the door to endless possibilities. And that's where true transformation begins. Now, I want to remind you of something powerful. Your journey starts today. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by the actions you take right now. What you do today will shape your tomorrow. This moment is where your future begins, not next week, not next month. It starts right now. So, what's holding you back from taking that first step today? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the thought that you're not ready? I'm telling you, you'll never be ready if you keep waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is today, and the action you take today will push you forward in ways you can't even imagine. You've got to stop making excuses. You've got to stop hiding behind fear and uncertainty. Your future is in your hands, and the only question left is whether you're willing to take that first step. Will you step out of your comfort zone? Will you face the unknown? Will you take control of your life right now? The power to change your life is not out of reach. It's in your hands. The question is, will you take that first step today? Your journey starts now. Your future is waiting for you, but it's up to you to take that first step. Let's go. Today is the day you start taking control.